Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. In the context of Murakkab Tawsifi, our today's topic is Alwan Uyub, written right on the top up there. So Alwan and Uyub. Alwan is plural of lawn. Lawnun, and that becomes plural alwanun. Lawn means color, and alwan is plural of that, which is jama mukassar. Uyub, singular is aib, aibun, and plural will be uyubun. That is also jama mukassar. We have been saying a good boy. So good is sifa and boy is mawsuf, making it murakkab tawsifi. We can also say a yellow car. So what kind of car? Yellow car. So yellow is describing car, and yellow is sifa and car is mawsuf here. Okay, so that's simple enough. We can also say a deaf man. So being deaf is a defect basically. So this is sifa and that is mawsuf. So ab basically means a defect. It is a defect or a fault, flaw, imperfection, deficiency of something, some kind. So that is ab. But the point which I want to make is, what about, for example, if we want to say a blonde woman, or we want to say a dark colored man, for example. So this is not really a defect, is it? However, this concept is also covered under Uyub. It also falls under the same category. So if we are saying a deaf man and a blonde woman, for example, they are both covered under aib and Uyub. So basically ab in Arabic covers both negative attribute and positive attribute. So just keep that in mind for now. So adjectives in Arabic cover various colors, as well as these facial appearance or your demeanor. And these colors in Arabic typically fall in under two categories. In this chart, that's the first category. These are the names of certain colors, and they follow a unique pattern, and we are going to go through these in a sec. But before that, let's have a look at this chart. That's another chart, and this is a different group of colors in Arabic. If we look carefully, we can see that all these words, they end in ya shadda, which is we can call ya mutashaddid, or we can call ya of nasab, ya unasbi, ya unasab. Or ya of attribution. So this nasab is different from the other word which we are familiar with, nasab. This is part of our three Arabic states. We say rafa, nasab, and jar. So these three Arabic states. And so this nasab is clearly different from this nasab, which is with seen and not with swad. We can say a noun is in rafa, or we can say the noun is marfu. It is in state of rafa, or we can say it is marfu. A noun which is in state of nasab, we can say that noun is mansub. And a noun which is in state of jar, we can say that noun is majroor. So basically these are nouns and these are the relevant sifa. This nasab, we can also say the word which contains this ya of nasab, that noun is mansub. So that will be written like this, mansubs, which we'll see. So this mansub and this mansub, they are different, and nasab and nasab, they are clearly different, just to keep that in mind. So if we look at these this chart again, we'll see that wardi or wardiyun, if we fully vocalize it, that will be something to do with rose color. Burtakaliyun is something to do with orange color. Bunniyun is something to do with brown color or coffee color. So basically what we see here is that these behave like nisba adjectives, and we discussed nisba adjectives in our previous video that you can go back and check out if you would like a refresher. Basically these function exactly along the same lines. So like all nisba adjectives, or most of them anyway, they kind of refer back to a noun. Let me explain what I mean by that. For example, burtakal, it's kind of, should be dhamma here, burtukal. So burtukal, burtakalun or burtukal is orange, and when we say burtakaliyu, so what we are saying in English is basically orangey or orangish kind of thing. And bunniyun comes from the noun bun, which is an old word in Arabic and some other Semitic languages, meaning coffee. So basically coffee colored, buniyun means coffee colored, or coffee color is used as brown color in Arabic. So buniyun refers back to bun. Similarly, banafsajiyun refers back to banafsajan, which is purple or violet, as in those little flowers, lilac. Ramad is ash, so ramadiyun refers back to ash, which basically means ashy color. Zahabiyun, zahbun is gold, so zahabiyun will be kind of golden. And similarly fadiyun or fiddiyun, I think it's pronounced both ways. Fiddiyun goes back to fiddatun or faddatan, which is silver, so silverish we are saying. And zahriyun refers back to zahrun, which is pink, so we are saying here pinkish. So we can see from here that they refer back to a noun. That's the one thing. And second, we've got both muzakkar and muannas for these. So we know the rule how to make muannas from muzakkar, especially in sifa words. So all we do is we give this last letter fatha and then add ta marbuta. So that becomes wardiyatun, burtukaliyatun, bunniyatun, banafsajiyatun, ramadiyatun, and so on. So we've got separate muzakkar and muannas for these. So just to consolidate this concept, let's have a look at some of the examples from our day-to-day language. For example, if we want to say a yellow car, so we can write down, let's go to another example. Let's say we want to say this is a brown dog, for example. So we will say haza kalbun, haza kalbun buniyun, bun, haza kalbun buniyun. So here what we have this is more sifa and this is our mawsuf, right? And mawsuf and sifa combine to make murakkab tawsifi. And then we have haza. Haza is our demonstrative pronoun, which is ishara. So we know that all demonstrative pronouns, they are definite, and because it is at the beginning of this sentence, so this is all the potential of becoming our mubtada, being definite and at the beginning of a sentence. So that's our mubtada, and this murakkab tawsifi here is our khabar. So mubtada and khabar combine to make jumla ismiya khabariya. So this is a brown dog, haza kalbun buniyun. If we want to say, on the other hand, this is a violet handbag, for example, so we will say hazihi haqiqatun handbag, and we want to say it is purple color. So haqiqatun will pick up purple from here. Now it is important to note here that haqiqatun with ta marbuta is a feminine noun. So we'll have to pick up sifa, which will be feminine. So banafsajiyatun, banafsajiyatun. Okay, so because our this mawsuf and sifa become our khabar, because our khabar is feminine, mubtada has to be feminine as well. We can't say haza haqiqatun banafsajiyatun. We'll say hazihi haqiqatun banafsajiyatun. And in the case of dog was masculine, so we said haza kalbun buniyun. So couple of examples. Now let's move on to the other group of colors, which clearly it's a different pattern and it's a unique pattern they fall into. So if we look up there, here, so we've got for white abyadu, aswadu for black, ahmaru for red, akhtaru for green, azraku for blue, and so on. And these are for muzakkar wahid noun. So muzakkar wahid noun will be pronunciation like this: azraku, akhtaru, ahmaru. So if we want to say white, which is feminine, and the feminine words are, which is singular feminine, bayda'u, for black sawda'u, and for red hamra'u, for green khadra'u, for blue zarka'u, for yellow safra'u. So wahid muzakkar, and we've got wahid muannas here. And then plural of these, whether it's muzakkar or muannas, the plural is the same word. So for white we have baydun, For black, sudun, red humrun, green khudrun, blue zircon. So if we focus on these words, pay our attention and look carefully, we will see they fall into certain patterns. We are familiar with roots and patterns in Arabic now. We have discussed that in one of the previous videos. So this wahid muzakkar goes with the pattern of af'alu. Af'alu. So they're all really af'alu. Abyadu, aswadu, ahmaru, akhdaru, asfaru, azraku. And wahid mu'annas follow the pattern of fa'ala'u. Fa'la'u, which is all of these colors: bayda'u, sawda'u, hamra'u, safra'u, zarka'u, khadra'u, etc., etc. And jama of these, plural of both these, that falls in the pattern of fu'lun. Fu'lun. So they follow these patterns. Af'alu for muzakkar and fa'la'u for muannas, and whether it's muzakkar or muannas, plural of both is on the pattern of fu'lun. Let us look at certain examples. For example, if we want to say a yellow car, so yellow car, so car is sayyaratun, and ta marbuta means it is feminine, so sayyaratun. What kind of car? Yellow car. In Arabic, Masuf comes first and then sifa follows, we know that. So sayyaratun, because it's feminine and we want to say yellow car, we'll have to pick from here not asfaru but safra'u. So sayyaratun safra'u. A yellow car. If we want to say a yellow house, so house is baytun, and baytun is muzakkar, so we are gonna pick this word from here, asfaru. So baytun asfaru. Also make a note that baytun is with the tanween here, which means it's munsarif, and asfaru is ghairu munsarif, so it takes only one dhamma. So baytun asfaru, both are marfu. So baytun asfaru, a yellow house. What if we want to say a yellow cow? So cow is bakaratun, and yellow. So because cow is feminine, so we'll have to pick safra'u from here. So bakaratun safra'u, a yellow cow. And let us look at that example from Quran when Prophet Moses asked his people to sacrifice a cow, that Allah has commanded them to sacrifice a cow, and then because cow was sacred to them, so they started asking different questions and basically started digging out for themselves really, and ended up in trouble. So one of their questions was that Qalud ulana rabbaka yubayyin lana ma launuha. So for us, ask your Rabb to clarify to us the color of the cow. And Kala, so Prophet Moses said, let's write that down. Kala, he said, Prophet Moses said, Kala innahu yakulu. Innahu yakulu, he says, which means Allah says, innahu yakulu, innaha, innaha bakaratun, innaha bakaratun safra'u. Allah says, he says, which means Allah says, innaha bakaratun safra'u. The said cow is of yellow color. Not only that, the next words are bakaratun safra'u faqi'ul launuha. Faqi'un launuha. Faqi'un means a kind of deep or rich color, and launuha, launun is color, and ha is the meat, which goes back to the cow, and this is mudaf and mudaf alayh construction. That's why the tanween of the laun has gone. So faqi'ul launuha, her color is kind of really deep and rich yellow color. So the kind of cow which they really loved, so they were asked to slaughter that cow. If they have done right at the beginning, they could have sacrificed any cow. Faqi'ul launuha, and the next was that tasurrun nazirin. Tasurrun nazirin. Tasurrun nazirin. So basically pleasing to the eyes, looks nice to those who look at it, which basically means pleasing to the eyes. So it's a really deep yellow color which is pleasing to the eyes, and they were asked to sacrifice that, and they did it, but they didn't really want to do it, so they had to do that. Okay, so we have got these three patterns then, af'alu, fa'ala'u, and fu'lun, and on these pattern af'alu, fa'ala'u, we also get words which are not quite color adjectives. For example, I have highlighted these two. Ashkaru in Arabic is light complected, which is blonde, fair color, and asmaru is dark complected or almond color. So asmaru and ashkaru, these are basically more to do with facial appearance or your demeanor rather than really the colors, but they fall on the same pattern. So muzakkar will be on the pattern of af'alu. For example, we say asmaru, dark complected man, and samra'u, dark complected woman, which is fa'ala'u. And if there are many men or many women with the same facial appearance, we will say sumrun on the pattern of fu'lun. You may be interested in one word here, which is, I've got the root, which is ha wo ra. Ha wo ra. And from this we get madi and mudari, which is havera, yahwaru, mudari. These are fail, to fail. Yahwaru, yahwaru. So that means eye, which is the black part of the eye is very black, and the white part of the eye is really white. So there is a sharp contrast between the black and white part of an eye. So that was the kind of eye which was used to be considered to be beautiful in Arabic. That probably is still the case, I'm not sure. So havera yahwaru. And if I kind of enter these three alphabets on this pattern, we will get ha wo ra, got ha wo ra. So we will get ahwaru, and here we're going to get hora'u on the pattern of fa'ala'u, hora'u. So and then the plural is going to be on the pattern of fallen, which will be hurun. Hurun. So ahwar is a man with beautiful eyes. Hawra is a woman with beautiful eyes. And hurun, many men with beautiful eyes, or many women with beautiful eyes. So hur is basically plural. That word is plural, or it could be combination of, in a group, if in a group we have many men and many women, for example, so and they've got beautiful eyes according to that standard, so that will be hur. So hur is a plural word. I let you to consider this further and perhaps continue to imagine. Let us move on to another example, which is from Quran again, and that is Prophet Moses again, when he saw a burning bush and it turned out to be not really burning bush, and conversation took place. And the first question was, Ma tilka bi yaminika ya Musa, what is that in your right hand, O Musa? And he said it's a stick, and he does this and this and this with that. And then the second question, second thing which he was asked to do was, Vadmum yadaka ila janahika. Right, Vadmum. Two meaning together. So Vadmum yadaka So basically, put your hand ila janahika, in your armpit. Janahika. Vadmum yadaka, not yadaka, yadaka. So vadmum yadaka ila janahika tahruj. And then if you remove it, takhruj, it will become, or it will come out. Takhruj, this is a fail. Takhruj bayda'a. Bayda'a min ghayri su'in. Ghayri su'in. Ayatan ukhra. This is Surah Taha, ayah number 22. So he is being asked, put your hand in your armpit and it will come out, or it will become white but not diseased. So the point which I want to make here is that yadun is hand, and yaduka, your hand, mudaf and mudafila, and all the body parts which are in pairs, we know that they're feminine, so hand is feminine. And when the hand is going to become white, so bayda'a, because it's feminine, bayda'a has been used, not abyadu. Bayda'u it will be, but because of this fail, it is bayda'a. We can't go into that because we haven't studied fail yet. So that's another example of that muannas has to go with muannas kind of thing. For muzakkar, you can have another example. For example, black stone. Stone is hajr. So we can say hajrun aswadu, a black stone. But if you want to say the black stone which is in Kaaba, we will say al-hajru, will make it definite. Al-hajru, tanween will go. Al-aswadu. So hajrul aswadu, the black stone, which is hajr aswad. So couple of examples here, and lastly I want you to focus on 3 other words. Let's wipe that off a bit. I have, for example, I have a root which is ba, kaf, mim. Ba, kaf and mim. So if I do Madi and Mudari with this, that will be Bakema, Bakema Yabkamu. Bakema Yabkamu, which means to be mute, unable to speak. And if we put this root here, in here, that we will get abkamu, abkamu, man who cannot speak, and who is dumb basically, and then on this pattern fa'ala'u, that will become bakma'u. Bakma'u. So a woman who cannot speak. And if there are many men or many women, that will be in the pattern of folon, so that will be bukmun. Bukmun. So many men or women who are unable to speak. So that's ba, kaf, mim. The other one is Ain, mim, ya. That's the root. Ain, mim, ya. Ain, mim, ya. So similarly, that will be Amiya, Amiya, Ya amayu, Madi Mudare. Ya ma you. And because we haven't studied fail yet, but these there are rules follow, and that becomes actually Amiya ya ma. Amiya, and that becomes ya ma. Ya ma. So Amiya ya ma. And let's put that in here. That will become Amayu, Amayu, which will similarly become Ama here. Come Ama following these changes. Ama. So that will be Ameya. Then this will become Amya'u. Bakma'u Amya'u. Amya'u. Ama, which was Ama, you become Ama, Amya'u. And many of them, that basically means blind. Okay. So you've got that blind man, that blind woman, and many men who are blind or many women who are blind, that will be umyun, and the pattern of fu'lun. Umyun. So a'ama, amya'u, umyun. And the third root is swad mim mim. Swad mim mim. So Madi Mudari will be Samama, Samama, Yas Samima, it should be the pattern, Samima Yasmamu, Samima Yasmamu. And because these are two meme together, they tend to merge. There are rules for that. We will study that later on. That will become Samma, and that will become Yasummu. So we've got Madi, Samma and Yasummu, which basically means deaf, right? So who can't hear. So put these in here. So that will become asmamu. Basically we become asmamu, asma, that's another meme here, asmamu, and because they have to merge together, that becomes asammu. Asammu. We merge the two memes together, asmamu, and that will be samma'u. And the same problem here, two memes has to merge together, that will become samma'u. Asammu, samma'u. Changes. Samma'u. And if we put these here, it will be fatna fu'lun, fu'lun summun. Summun. So these has to merge together, it will become summun. Summun. So our ayah is from Surah Baqarah, which is ayah number 18, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about hypocrites. It says masalahum kamasalillah zistaqada naran falamma adaat mahalahu zahaballahu binurihim wa tarakahum fi zulumatillah yubsirun summum bukman. Ayah number 18, summum bukman. Summum bukman. These are yarmalun, so you combine these as well. Summum bukman. Summum bukman umyun. Here. Summum bukman umyun fahum la yarji'un. Ayah number 18. So summum bukmun umyun fahum la yarji'un. They are deaf, they are kind of dumb, they are blind, and they will never return to the right path. They are not going to turn back basically. So a seal has been basically put on them. So they are never going to return to the right path. Summum bukmun umyun fahum la yarji'un. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.